Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. As you can probably tell, today's video is a bit of a milestone for me, and I hope that you enjoy it. If it's your first time visiting my channel, first time seeing one of my videos, thanks very much for checking in. And to all my regular viewers, thanks again for your support. It's always really appreciated, and I really love reading the comments and responding and chatting to you guys, so thanks very much as ever. I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory on the context, the lead up to this video, which is that most people skating probably have a little itch in the back of their head somewhere about skating vert, and many may say that it's something of a bucket list thing to drop in on a vert ramp or to skate vert, and that case is no different for me. And if you check back through some of my old videos, I'll put a link in up here or wherever it is, but not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago, I dropped in on a vert ramp and kind of conquered that fear and marked off that one thing on the bucket list. But for me, dropping in's not enough. I really want to be skating vert regularly. I want to get used to it. I want to start enjoying it as much as I do bowls and mini ramps, and you know, it's the next logical step for a transition skater to be skating vert. And so here I am, and today's video is all about that. So I'll give you a little bit of backstory on this session, and then afterwards I'll give you a bit of a feel for what was going through my head, what it felt like, some things that had never occurred to me and maybe might be useful to somebody else that's just approaching vert for the first time as well. So watch through the video and check out the very end for sort of my feedback, and give me your feedback in the comments below. So as everybody probably does through skating, I get to meet a lot of other skaters, usually mutual friends, friends of friends. And one guy that I got to know through a few skate sessions, I'd heard that he had built a brand new vert ramp during the lockdown. And so when we came out of the lockdown, he was going to have some beginner sessions, which to me that sounded like a dream come true, you know, a beginner session on a brand new vert ramp. Less intimidation than getting stuck in with all the hardcore veterans of vert. So I jumped at the chance, and he invited me down to his ramp to try it out. So there was a small group of us, a few adults, a few kids, and we had a really chilled day just getting to grips with this ramp. It's a really good sized ramp. I think it's 12 feet and there's a foot of vert. So, you know, it's a pretty standard sort of size vert ramp. I think generally you get sort of 12 or 14 foot. A foot of vert is plenty for me, and something that I think anybody would be keen to give a go. So after the lockdown had ended, this session was organised, and I headed down south on a pretty good weathered day, and this is what happened. So let's check it out. Okay, so there you go. That was my first proper vert session, aside from the brief drop-in session that I'll link to in the description below. And when I arrived, I just got to the middle of the ramp and, you know, was pumping up from the middle. I had no initial intentions of dropping in straight away, so, you know, the first thing I wanted to do was just pump from the middle and kind of get acclimatized to the feeling of the transition and getting a body feel for when the right time to pump on each side was, and you know, just getting a general comfortable feel for the ramp. And when I'd done the same thing before on bigger ramps, you know, there's something else to get used to, is the point where you actually reach the peak where you start to hit the vert. At that peak point where you slow down and you turn and you go back down the other side, at that peak point you get a kind of weightless feeling, and that is something to really, you know, it's hard to explain in words apart from say that you pretty much go weightless. And so to stay on the board and not panic or freak out is certainly something you have to be mindful of. You know, it's crazy as well, there's an awful lot going on in your head. There's an awful lot of things that you have to try and remember and try and think about, and that's one of those things is when you get weightless, is to, you know, not panic, not freak out, but just try and relax and kick turn and come back down the other side, and then obviously pump and get up the other side and do it again. So, you know, there's a lot going on in your head, and there's a lot of potential for panic to set in, and panic is not a good thing when you're doing something quite dangerous. I saw a surf movie a while ago, and, you know, one of the surfers said, you know, there's a lot of danger there, and, you know, fear is a good thing, panic is dangerous. So, you know, don't panic basically. So yeah, one of the key points was getting that weightless feeling when you actually get onto the vert. Something you might have picked up on the video is that I'm only ever going forwards and kick turning backside. I didn't do any fakey stuff because at the moment that still freaks me out. Being on the vert and going fakey, my balance still isn't quite right for that, and I'm sure I'd be fine, but it just doesn't feel quite right yet, so I need to put some time in with that. And likewise, kick turning frontside I need to put some time in with as well, because when you're on the flat wall, so you are vertical, kick turning frontside feels like an awful lot of effort, because you're almost bringing your knees right up into your chest to kick turn around, and if you've got a bit of a belly like I have, it feels like it gets in the way, or you feel like you're doing squats, you know. It's pretty difficult. And even doing the backside kick turns, when I'm on the vert, I'm not relaxed enough yet to kind of relax and stand out from the wall that much, so I'm pretty much squatting my backside kick turns, and so doing a kick turn while squatting is quite an effort as well. So there does feel like an awful lot of stress on your thighs and your stomach muscles just kick turning, and so frontside is not quite there for me yet. I'm not great at doing frontside anything, but when I'm on the vert, you know, 12 feet up, it just doesn't feel comfortable just yet. So as you would have seen, all I'm really doing is going round and round in circles doing backside kick turns, which gets quite monotonous after a while obviously, but all I'm really trying to do is get used to my balance when going that fast and going that high and going weightless, turning and pumping back down again. So I'm trying to keep my speed up, and I'm trying to get up to hit the coping. I'm not just going round and round in circles and staying a foot below the coping off the vert. I'm trying to kick turn and go as fast as possible. So lots of pumping, lots of squatting to try and reach that coping on every run. And it absolutely kills your legs, your thighs, your calf muscles and your abdominals. It's such a workout. It's nothing like skating a bowl or a mini ramp. It's kind of like times 100. Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but I'm just really trying to pump and keep my balance with all those things going on in my head. And it's hard work, and okay, after a while I'm sure it will become second nature, but I can only liken it to when I was beginning to learn how to ride around a bowl. There's so much to think about, let alone staying on, but keeping the right balance and speed and keeping your board in the right position. There's so much to think about that it doesn't look like much to a viewer, but when you're doing it, there's an awful lot going on in your head. So anyway, after pumping from the middle for a little bit, I thought I can't leave here without dropping in. And this was the highest thing I'd ever attempted to drop in on. Previously, my previous drop-in video on a vert ramp, that is 9 foot high, and this one being 12 foot is, you know, a fair bit higher and a fair bit more intimidating. And when you stand up there and you look over the edge, it does look like you're looking off the edge of a cliff. It's just unbelievably frightening. I am dead scared of heights. I hate heights. And part of skating vert is to try and come to terms with that and conquer that fear. So yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment, but I want to conquer my fear of heights because I never used to be afraid of heights. And I want to skate vert. So, you know, I thought after a few runs of pumping backwards and forwards, I can't go home and not drop in. So when it was all quiet and nobody was looking, I climbed the stairs and I stuck my board over the edge and I just went, and I didn't tell anybody I was going to do it, and I just did it just so that there was no pressure. And yeah, it was fine. I got down there, and you'll see, I think it was the first clip in the video, that as I dropped in and I kind of crouched down as I went, the board kind of left me behind, and you'll see my arms go up, and it does just feel like my board is falling away from me and I'm staying still and everything's going down and I'm falling. And I still haven't quite got over that thing, so I definitely need to bend and squat into the drop-in more. And you'll see as I went down and up the other side, my knees kind of compressed and I had a tough time standing back up. And again, if you look at my first drop-in video that I've linked to, my first experience of dropping in on a vert ramp, I dropped in, my knees pretty much collapsed going up the other side and I had to jump off. I didn't, you know, there's so much inertia going down that I didn't have the strength in my legs to stand up again, and it just felt like I was falling through the floor. And so it took a little while to get that feeling and to have the strength to stand up and stay standing up. So yeah, a couple of issues there. I mean, the drop in itself, I'm obviously not leaning forward enough as I drop in. And everybody says, and there's a great video that Andy McDonald has done on YouTube saying, you know, grab the nose as you drop in, lean forward, you can never lean forward enough, kind of thing. But I think my fear of heights, when I'm dropping in, I'm still afraid of the drop, so I'm kind of looking back and sort of backing away from it because it's a scary thing, which is making my body stay more upright, and therefore my board's going down and I'm just kind of free falling, which is weird. And I need to get used to literally stamping down and going with it, and that will only come through time. But you know, just some feedback of what you may have a similar thing. I've not seen anybody else have quite the same problem that I have, and it's repeated as well, you know, again and again. No matter how much I think I need to lean forward, I never lean forward enough. So that's a little battle that I'm going to have to overcome. But every drop-in, I do make it down there all right. I don't generally slam the drop-ins. Once I'd done it that once, I got up there and did it again and again and again. Everyone is very wobbly. You know, you've got the drop-in to worry about, you've got speed wobbles to worry about if your trucks are quite loose. Since then, for my vert board, because I made a separate board for just riding vert, because I have to have my trucks really nice and tight on the vert because the speed wobbles just panic me. And I don't need loose trucks on vert, there's no need for it. So tight trucks, I feel a lot more stable with that. So yeah, there's an awful lot to take in, there's an awful lot to improve upon, but I'm really glad I did that session. And I was super glad that by the end of the session I was backside slashing the coping, and that was amazing. I didn't think I'd get that far, so getting a couple of tickle grinds on the coping, hearing that noise of the coping was a huge bonus, and I was really proud that I managed to get that far in that one session. So yeah, I'm positively hooked, as I'm sure you could tell, and I'm gonna just skate more and more vert the more I can, and hopefully improve a lot, and hopefully you'll come along for the ride and continue watching and enjoying the videos. So thanks for watching, and please do let me know what you think in the comments, and whether you're skating vert or you want to, and yeah, let me know how you get on as well. Until then, thanks for watching, and subscribe to keep up with when the next video drops, and I will hopefully see you again very soon. Cheers and take care.